Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
Speaking of, welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, coming to you from the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Texas. Just ahead, more guests from today's event. Conrad will have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and we'll have this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin.
Woohoo.
And back, wait, here, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, David Ainsley, our chief engineer on this fine broadcast. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. It's a little chilly outside.
It's cold.
But you know what?
Quit saying chilly.
You know what I'm looking at? There's a little break in the clouds, and I'm seeing blue skies, brother. Just like the weatherman who never gets anything wrong predicted.
Hopefully it'll get here in a hurry and the sun will break through.
I don't know as if that's going to help. And you know, I hear that next weekend is going to be
cold.
Really cold.
Oh boy.
Well, that'll work well for my my segment.
It will?
Yep. Do I need to warm up my car?
That's good.
No, I need to warm my hands, my feet, my loins.
And I have to tell you that, as I mentioned at the open that I just did, we are at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, and we're out here at the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Cruise-In.
Still time for you to go jump in your car and get out here.
And
Bring a toy.
And I will tell you, I'm quite surprised. This is a nice turnout.
Very nice turnout.
As cold a weather as it is, and look at all of the donations, the toys for
absolutely.
kids.
Got a huge pile.
Pile.
Like 4 tables are full.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
we got people sitting out here under the fire, in the fire, by the
fire,
fire,
around the fire.
Not in the fire.
not in the fire.
We've got a table with some waxes
Joan
and
of Arc
polishes we
showed
brought.
up, right?
Huh?
Joan of Arc showed up in the fire.
In Wheel Time brought some waxes and polishes on the end of the corner there, so help yourself. Grab some of that.
Yeah.
Springtime's coming.
Yeah. Have we passed those out?
No, I've got them on a table down here.
Okay. Because I was going to say that
There's still a bunch of them, so somebody needs to grab them.
Yeah.
Well,
take 4, 5, 6,
I
7.
think what we need to do is we need to just kind of go out there and distribute them. What do you think?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, get after it.
As soon as we get a chance.
Yeah.
I see my buddy Bruce West pulled in his Corvette. He's out here running around.
Very nice.
Yep.
And George is here. He's the guy that takes care of Stan's car collection, which I saw him walk by just a moment ago, and we're going to talk to him about his car collection. I particularly like that red, whatever that is over there, that red car hot rod convertible.
Yeah, it looks like a Ford.
Yeah, I'd go with a Ford
I'd
convertible.
go with a Ford.
Of some sort.
Well,
There's Bruce right here. Hey, buddy.
hi, Bruce. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you. There is a wide collection of cars here that looked like a Skyline that just walked. Did you see the Skyline?
Yeah.
Was it a Skyline?
GTR is what they call it here in the States. Skyline in Japan.
Is that right-hand drive?
In Japan,
Skyline
it would be.
is,
Or
yeah.
Japan it would be, yeah. But you can bring them over if they're 25 years or older.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, that mid-50s Buick, the
Yes. I think it's a 56, but I'm not.
the Back to the Future DeLorean with all of the accessories on
Let's
it.
go back to the Buick has Dagmars on it.
Yeah, I like that.
Little Dagmars.
Little
Yeah.
Dagmars. Training bra
Training
size.
Dagmars.
I am not going to go there, Don.
Why?
Send your comments to info@inwheeltime.com.
Send them directly to Conrad. That's
Conrad.
Conrad at
inwheeltime.com.
inwheeltime.com.
And that's Conrad with a K.
Yeah.
It is. How did that happen?
It is the Austrian way to spell Conrad. The German way to spell Conrad.
ran out
is
of
with a
vowels.
C.
Is DeLong Austrian?
No, it's kind of a French-German blend. My dad's dad was
Kind of like a Peugeot?
Yeah, no.
The Saab.
My dad's dad was from the Alsace-Lorraine region of Germany, and it's kind of a disputed area of, depends on which war happened. Is it part of Germany or is it part of France?
I see. You ever been there?
Nope. My dad's gone. My dad's since passed, but he's been there.
I see.
Here's the Skyline now.
Yes.
Yep, got a shot of
We
it.
call it the Skyline, but it's not the Skyline.
It's faster than snot.
That's
And
what I
today is
understand.
rolling.
I'd like to ride in one of those one time. Give me a little
Surprised
ride.
you never had one for a.
No.
They don't give out the hot rods.
No.
Not since
Nissan,
idiots have wrecked
Nissan
them.
is very odd when it comes to loaning out cars to the press, and I'm not sure what that's about.
Well, I understood the new Z was in town somewhere.
Yeah, it was, and I didn't get it.
Oh.
And I complained heavily to my contact with Nissan.
And you still didn't get
I
it.
still didn't get it. There's Sheila May.
Yeah.
At any rate, we're still waiting. You know, Stan being Stan, he's kind of all over the place, and somebody will grab him and he'll start a conversation, and then goes over here, and then somebody else. Jeff, do you think you could track him down? Stan? Could you track down Stan and tell him we're ready for him? Thank you. But at any rate, a nice collection of cars here. Now, there is a Chevy SSR.
I liked that. A lot of people don't. I liked that.
I liked it. I love the shape of it.
Because when you take its clothes off, it is a Trailblazer SS
Well,
underneath with the V8 and
but
all the
it
suspension.
has absolutely no horsepower,
Uh,
and because it has no top on it, the body flexes really
Yeah.
bad, worse than my '77 Corvette. And they could have kept the shape, just put a little bit more thought into the process. The V8 has no horsepower.
Well, you could eventually, towards the end, you can get them with an LS3. So they had the 400 horse LS in them.
And but they still twisted even
Oh yeah,
more.
yeah. Well, there's no roof. When you take the upper strength out of a vehicle, they twist.
I know. So if you're going to put
And they were not functional as a pickup truck.
absolutely not
No.
whatsoever, with that hard tonneau cover on it that didn't
that,
open.
that lifted about 15 degrees.
Well, there were so many things that didn't make any sense to me. I didn't understand it.
It was, my opinion is, it was kind of GM's answer to the Plymouth Prowler. You know, very retro looking.
Yeah.
You know, the Prowler looked like a
My
32 high boy.
My dad loved that Prowler.
And the SSR kind of looked like a early 50s Chevrolet pickup truck.
Yeah, it did. As a matter of fact, I remember distinctly reading a story about that GM had to go back to the 1950s because the way that the fenders are formed and the big round sculpted fenders.
Hard to do in
they're
sheet
hard-
metal.
Right, and so they had to go
In
back.
today's sheet metal, because today's sheet metal is so thin because they want the vehicle light. Back in the 50s, it was easy to do because the sheet metal was probably 4 times as thick as it is today.
Yeah.
So it was easier to stamp and form.
So they had to go back to the 1950s technology to get those big bulbous fenders.
I liked them. I had probably 7 or 8 as company cars. I liked them. They were fun.
Seriously?
Yep. You could row them. You can get a 6-speed in them.
I never understood why they did that to the trunk. Why did the bed? To put the hard tonneau cover on it.
They had some accessories for the bed, like some pockets and some drawer things and stuff, but it really was never functional as a bed, as a pickup truck bed.
But you know, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate tonneau covers, but you still have the functionality.
yeah, well, that one you couldn't stand or sit on because it was body colored.
And you couldn't do anything with it. I mean, you maybe put some grocery bags back there. That's about it.
Only if you
Okay.
had storage containers, because when you stepped on the brake, they'd go everything would go rolling around.
Sliding forward. Yeah, it just doesn't well thought out. But I love the look of it. And the one that I had, and out of the press fleet, it was underpowered.
Might have been the first gen. When
It was.
The LS1 was only 350 horse, but the second gen with the 400 horse LS3 was much better.
It was underpowered, and it was kind of disappointing. I liked it. Got tons of looks, but that's about it.
The interior, I thought, had room to improve.
Yes.
You know, because I like a pretty wide driver compartment, and it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It kind of was harkened back to the El Camino days.
Well, I'm an El Camino fan.
I am a
That's
huge El Camino
one of my
fan.
favorites.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've wrangled him
Again.
and ladies and gentlemen, the founder of Lupi Tortilla, and as I mentioned, you didn't hear your commercial, but I did a commercial touting you and Sheila and NHRA and you know your passion for cars. You've always had a passion for cars because your dad was in the car business, if I'm not mistaken.
And I was in the car business.
Were you?
Yeah.
That was in California, wasn't it? Was it in California?
California, when I got out of the service.
East L.A.
You're welcome. I went in the car business. I was going to go back to school. I had a year and a half left. I had a year and a half of school left. And I was going to go. My dad said, you were washing cars when you left. Why don't you sell them, make some money, go back to school? And I got out of service in October. I was going to go back in the spring. So my brother, a banker, he was like a junior officer at Bank of America in Covina, California. And I thought he was making $900 a month. He assured me it was just over $650. And I started making $1,000 a week selling cars. I'm thinking, if I go back to school in the spring, it'll take me a lifetime to recover. And it wasn't that every month. But remember, this is in 1969.
Right.
So
Fun time to sell cars, though.
I had previously, my previous job, been making $233 a month, plus including meals and sleeping place.
Yeah, that's called a service.
It's called a service. So I decided, I said, Dad, I'm going to stay out until the next fall, really stack up some money and go back in style. He said, I don't care if you ever go back. I'm done paying for it.
Well, what a nice combination. You selling them and him financing them.
Yeah, what a deal. So anyway, I stayed. A long, long story, very short. It was a Pontiac American Motors dealership and international.
What a combination.
All the bases covered.
That's reaching to make money.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You couldn't give away an international.
I was just going to say, did you sell tractors too?
No. But Honda was going to introduce their first car. And you remember what that looked like,
Yep.
right? Okay.
The
Vividly.
600.
Yes. And
I don't fit in a 600.
no, my dad and the dealer, the owner of the dealer, were both World War II pilots.
Oh, okay.
Both had been shot down, and apparently not by Germans. They didn't want to sell that Japanese car. So I talked them into it. Dominic Longo was and still is the largest Toyota dealer.
Oh, yeah. Forever.
Forever. And they were friends. They were, 8-10 miles apart. And I just made, one of my Stan Holt comments. I said, well, Dominic Longo's laying on the beach in Waikiki, and we're all down here working on Sunday. And the owner said, get him, but I don't want anything to do with him. We had to buy 10 cars, $10,000 worth of parts, and hang a sign.
That's it?
We were the dealer. And we did all that, and so they said, you're the Honda manager. Okay. So when you pull into the dealership, by the gas pump, it said parking for Johnny Bryant. And the letters were 8 feet high. And the next parking spot said parking for John Steiger, general manager, 4 feet high. There was my dad, used car manager Grady Ross, 2 feet high. My sign was on a chalkboard on a nail, swinging back and forth a piece of string, says Stan Holt,
With an eraser.
Honda manager. So every morning before I'd go in, I'd call and say, who's the Honda manager? She'd say, Stan Holt, I'll be right down. Wasn't going to make the trip if it was over.
If it was over.
Well,
funny.
the long end of that story is that Pontiac came in griping about this, that,
Oh, yeah.
and the other,
That you were dueled with Honda.
Yeah, and then just, we're not selling the Pontiacs and Hondas center stage, and the dealer said, I totally agree with you. Get your Pontiacs off my lot.
Good.
He went straight with Honda. He never had warranty issues and customer problems, And so I get a big kick out of it when I drive by there today, and it's 2 blocks of Hondas, So.
When I worked for Oldsmobile, we went through the same thing.
You did?
Well, it seemed like when I first got to Houston, all of the Oldsmobile dealers had a Nissan franchise moved in with them, whether it was Mossy or Sam White or David McDavid. They all had a Nissan franchise moved in. And now look at them.
And
they're all Nissan stores, and Oldsmobile's
we all
long
thought
gone.
they were going to be Nosemobiles is what we thought were
Nosemobile.
And anyway, So that was
Well, that was
fun. I did that. I stayed with selling the cars for 7 years. It was a great time in my life working with my dad, and we had so much fun. And
It was a good time for Honda, though, too.
great time for Honda.
'Cause,
But
you know,
things were in America were so different, you know. They were still rolling speedos and all that crazy stuff. Yeah. How many miles do they have on it? How many do you want? You know.
you want?
Yeah. And I actually remember my dad had, and I would trade about 10 cars to have this. He had a 61 Pontiac Catalina.
I knew you were going to say that.
Bucket seats, console, 4-speed with tri-power.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
421 tri-power.
So you know,
Where
when
are
you,
they now?
When you live that close to Vegas, somebody's parents were in Vegas every weekend. You know.
Oh, that was a thirsty car to drive to Vegas.
I don't know. They didn't go. They didn't take that. They would take something else. So my brother and I got in it, and we drove it all over town all weekend. Thank you. And there was this cute girl I was working on, and so we went over to her house and told her all about my new car, and so on and so forth. So we get back. It's a Speedo story, actually. So we didn't think to disconnect the speedometer. So we put it in the garage, we jacked it up, and started it, put it in reverse, and just let it run for 25 hours.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Well, the bottom line of the story is my dad and mom get home, and they always used to bring us a stack of silver dollars. You know. I didn't even have a license, and I'm driving this thing all over Covina, California. My dad, I'm upstairs asleep. He said, "Hey, Bob, come downstairs." I said, "Oh, okay, what?" He said, "You'll never guess who we met when we were in Vegas. It was an Optimus Club trip."
Optimus.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul Mingle. I went, you could just see the blood because the girl that I'd taken to the car, show the car, was Judy Mingle, his daughter.
Dun, dun, dun. The plot thickens.
Oh, Lord.
He said, "You want to explain yourself?" I said, "I'm going to need a lot more time, Dad." I wasn't planning on this.
Yeah, have you seen Julie?
I did later down the road, but he was a great stepdad. He was kind of a loose cannon when he was a kid, and so he let things flow.
Understood some of that.
Yeah.
I actually got a report card. True story. I had 4 Ds and an F.
That's me.
I laid in a V shape my report card on this little coffee table there, and I hear him holler my name. Come upstairs. We had a little basement. I went upstairs. He says, "I don't even understand this. How is this possible? 4 Ds and an F. Well, what do you have to say for yourself?" I said, "Well, Dad, I can't excel at everything."
Oh. How did that turn out for
He
you?
laughed just like you're laughing. He goes, "Well," he said, "your sense of humor is probably going to save your bleep, but you're grounded till the next report card." I said, "That's pretty severe." He said, "Yeah, those grades are pretty severe." So he was tickled when I got 4 C's and a D next time. So, yeah.
Moving up.
That was wide open throttle for me, by the way. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we were going to talk. We don't have time now. We can talk about it later, about a format for next year.
Yes.
But I want you all to start on it for next year.
Okay.
We have decided we're not sure how many a year we're going to do. I'm thinking one every other month instead of quarterly. But we're going to donate all the proceeds, anything that comes in this door, to the Star of Hope.
Now, you're talking about tailpipes and tacos for the cruise in.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's going to be centered around the Star of Hope. I sat on their board for a number of years. It's a really solid charity. All of the money that you donate goes to them. I'm going to attempt to get donations. If you get a donation, we're buying breakfast, and that can be your donation as far as we're concerned. And so that's our plan for next year.
Okay.
And, just make it more significant than just cars. I know it's about cars. I get that. But
Well, the car community is pretty philanthropic on its own.
they are.
And they generally will support
They are.
those types of charities.
And without the people, you wouldn't have the cars.
You wouldn't have cars or car show. And I think, if we had a Toys for Kids deal, all of it would go to the Star of Hope and those kids that are living in those homeless shelters. And it's,
If people were to see what the Star of Hope does and have a sense of that agency and the people that are there
being served.
Yeah.
We have kind of fallen into helping a guy that is running an organization called God's Garage.
Yeah.
And it's a very heartfelt thing. It's they acquire cars, fix them up, and give them to women that are struggling, that have no transportation.
Oh, wow.
They're out of Conroe, and it's truly heartwarming to hear the stories, and you just feel compelled to help. And we're going to donate a remote broadcast to them in the spring.
Okay.
And it's kind of along that line.
Okay.
People that have nothing, they didn't plan on being there in their life, but through circumstances beyond their control, they're there.
Right.
And they're so grateful for what anybody does for them.
And-
As minor as it may seem to you, a fresh pair of socks goes a long way at Star
Yeah.
Hope.
Exactly. Well, and I'm not familiar with
God's Garage.
that charity, but I would like to be not a part of it, but help them in some way. And we don't need loopy advertising or anything, but that'd be very close
Well,
to my heart.
they're right up there by the lake. So
Yep.
in Conroe.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
great.
they've moved into a new building that they're trying to complete right now, and that took a lot of effort on their part and contributions and things to get that going.
And they
for them.
got their runaround truck stolen.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Yeah, their pickup
go
truck,
figure.
yeah.
Parts truck.
Well, hopefully, like the Star of Hope, by the way, when you give them money, it goes to those families.
Yeah.
It's underwritten, and
I have a friend of
very
mine
strong board of
that I
directors.
have a friend of mine that has been in the broadcasting business a long time, and he is kind of heading up their PR, marketing, and kind of like the spokesperson for Star of Hope. So we all have a connection.
Yeah, I'd like to get together with him, and also
Sure.
if the people have God's Garage up in Conroe, if we could just have
I'll facilitate
a
that.
lunch and just get to know each other, I think it'd be helpful in this situation.
I agree, and I'll facilitate that. We're running a little bit short now on time.
That's
but-
fine.
But for this hour.
Yeah.
But I had promised everybody that we would talk about your car collection. I think that it's important, and the reason that I do is because it is such a vast array of four-wheeled objects.
Not a theme there, is there?
There's not one theme. It's everything from the Bentley
Yeah.
on down,
Yeah.
and everything in between that you can imagine.
Yeah.
You still have the 55 Buick?
I do. That's the first car I ever did. Yeah, I won't sell that. It's
Well, and I shared this with you. You probably don't remember, but my first car that my dad had, that I was interested in because he worked on it all the time. My folks didn't have a lot of money, and Dad did all of his own mechanic work, and that's kind of where I got my passion, if you will. It was a 55 Buick Special,
yeah.
a three-holder.
Three-holder, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you need to come get that car on a sunny weekend or week and take it and drive it. It has 53,000 miles on it. It's not a valuable car. It is to me. You start it up, and the lifters tick for about 120 seconds. It smooths out, and it says, "Let's go to California."
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That car is just so smooth, and got the big steering wheel with no power steering, and it's just a delight to drive. And one thing we'll talk about later is I never change the rearview mirror in a car that I buy. And this one is all patinaed and crackled and so forth. And I think, how many girls have turned that mirror to fix their makeup and so on and so forth? I just can't bear to take that off and put a new mirror in there.
Don't ever do
I'm
it.
not going to do it. Not going to do it. So there's a story behind every rearview mirror. Some I can't tell here.
There's probably a few for the back seat
It's a
too.
family show.
I can truly appreciate that.
Well, you saw that 38 Buick. It's like a sofa back there in the back seat.
Oh, my gosh, it is.
Exactly. I did sit in it, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
And for those that don't know, Stan was very gracious and allowed my daughter and her brand new husband to drive away from the wedding venue in that car the night that they got married. And it was the talk of the event.
And the great pictures we have of her with the jumper cables. It was just
Yeah, it was awesome. And her boots. She had her big rubber boots on. It was great. Yeah.
That's right. It was all good. It was so good. And it kind of got me thinking, we need to have that in the Autorama booth. And as you said, Don, do you realize how big that car is? I said, well, I think I do. Well, as it turned out, I didn't.
you had a booth stretcher?
Yeah, Mike struggled to get it in there. He did. He really did.
I will say that we kind of elbowed the trunk with our setup here, but it worked great.
We should have put it on roller skates. That's so easy to do, and you can push it sideways.
Yeah, well, we didn't need to do that, and we found the key, and it was good.
Next
it was
year,
so good.
Can we get the Bentley next year?
No.
We don't want.
That was a quick answer too.
We don't.
You got to ask, right?
We don't want.
Very authoritative there.
No, but I think that's
It's like asking me for a raise. Can I get a raise? No.
I'm talking Hyman.
Somebody
Yeah.
asked me last week, said, do you speak Spanish? I said, well, enough to get it open and closed, but I can say no in 20 languages.
It's called
And
no.
she said, you can? I said, no.
All right. So will you stay with us, and we'll do this in 3 minutes?
Oh, in 3
3
minutes?
minutes. Okay. It's okay.
Okay, I have a grandchild that came both
You
two
go
of them
do
came
that.
home
That's
from
the
New
priority.
York.
Can we
And
take a 30-minute break and do it at the bottom?
That'd be perfect.
All right. You just do that.
And or the boys would talk
Yes.
about
Yeah, the boys.
Absolutely.
the
Let's get
We'll
the
evolution.
send
boys.
one of the boys over.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Stan Holt,
That one
the
right there.
founder of Loopy Tortilla. All right. This is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We've got more of our show continuing right after a quick break. We are live today from Tailpipes and Tacos, the Christmas edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, Texas. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your friends and hosts of the quarterly Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy want to thank you for participating in this year's events and look forward to another exciting year. You'll hear about the next Tailpipes and Tacos right here and online soon. Next time you're in West Houston, be sure and stop in at the original Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex near I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. Traveling east to Beaumont or northwest to College Station, you'll want to have Loopy's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Loopy Tortilla. Loopy founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are car people through and through. Both are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of cars that everyone appreciates. You'll see one at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The next event will be in the spring at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99, the Grand Parkway and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details soon here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 car talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best car talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.